Yo, what's up guys, the Insane Game Freak here to bring you another Durarara episode review. I believe we're on episode 3 now of season 2. Let's get into it. And if you ask me why I'm in the car, I live with other people. That's all the reasoning you need at this point. Anyway, so episode 2 for the most part covers a lot of the stuff regarding Hollywood, and actually we get some stuff on Shizuo's brother and Shinra. We do get, I'm not gonna say we get a proper introduction to Igor, but we at least hear his name in the episode, and we don't get too much from it because I think only the dude at the sushi place is like, well, yeah, we used to be comrades in the jobs, we used to work together, but that's about it. Also, the stuff regarding Isaiah's sisters in that scene also confuses me, but we'll get back to that later. Alright, so for those who might be a little bit confused, let me explain it. So for those who are having a hard time keeping up, because Durarara's kind of confusing for that reason in itself, all the stuff regarding Hollywood and Yuhei and Shinra all takes place before Shinra comes home and has the conversation with Celti in the bubble and proceeds to be trapped in the bubble. Because by the end of that sequence and all the stuff regarding, them coming up with that fake thing about them kissing and having Celti transport her and stuff. Well, I don't know. The Celti transport stuff might be after the fact, but I know all the stuff regarding Yuhei and her before that, and when they're still in the thing, and Shinra goes over there to treat Ruri's wounds and treat Igor's wounds. That happens before, because they even set it up in the episode to show that off. Now, in regards to Hollywood and her revealing who she is, I'm surprised that came so damn quick, because that's literally, we're only on the 3rd episode and you already know who Hollywood is. Well, why was that a big thing in the beginning of the episode? Like, they brought it up in season 1 and I'm like, okay, and then season 2 actually shows them fighting. You're like, oh shit. So we also know, by the end of this episode, we know who Hollywood is. We know that she is not human. And apparently she's an idol that people like. One of the funniest scenes was actually a lot of the Donaki, Walter, Erica, how you pronounce his name? Togasa, I think is how you pronounce his name. The dude who drives the car. Because you see him in the car and he's like crying and shit. Because he saw the whole newspaper thing about her and Yuhei kissing, which I thought was fucking great. You can tell she also has a monster complex. You can kind of say she's like she's like Celti season 1. That's what she comes off as in a sense. I am curious about the whole Isaiah's sister helping to pay Igor's bill, which we don't know if they do. They know that they offer it, but they don't know if he actually takes them up on the offer, which then makes me curious about, Also, I find it kind of interesting that Shinra's dad knows so much about Ruri without actually knowing Ruri, which is interesting in itself. And then you have the situation that happens when you go back to present time with Shinra still stuck in Celti's little dark ball, and Shika's like, and you introduce this character named Shika, who seems to have this interest in Ruri because she's not human. And there's one thing she says in the episode, like when she's like threatening to kill Yuhei, she's like, you're kind of stupid because, have you ever thought about the possibility of me killing you? And then she mentions in a monologue, she's like, I probably wouldn't be able to kill him anyway. The only people I can probably kill is them. And I'm like, well, who the hell is them? Which then brings up the question, we know she's been killing people with the Hollywood masks and everything, because they pretty much say it's her. But then you bring up the question, well, who are the people she killed? Because from what I understand, they're just like random people, unless they have a secondary purpose. Or maybe they're the people who have been chasing her. Which then brings up, has she been killing people for the sake of killing people, or has she been killing people to protect herself? Because the beginning of it kind of alludes to it being the latter instead of the former. I'm not sure in myself, but I'm curious. Then by the end of it, we do get some funny Donaki scenes with the whole, as I said, I'm calling them the White Tigers. They're harassing Isaiah's sisters because apparently Isaiah's sisters seem like they know who Celti is. And I love to see because Duncan's like, huh? And he walks over and he's like, you got these, like, you guys are harassing 2 little girls in the middle of broad daylight. what are you, pedophiles or something? He's like, watch your man. He's like, watch your mouth, man. And then the Doki's grinning the entire time. He jacks him up by his shirt and he's just like, bah! And I'm just like, well, that's it. That's all he had to do. We're done here. Also, him freaking out with Walter and Erica's conversation about 2D figures. That shit had me rolling, bruh. I did like the characterization we got for Yuhei, which for those who don't know, Yuhei is Shizuo's younger brother, the one who's an actor. Yuhei's whole mindset regarding why he's an actor and why he feels the way he feels about the characters he plays and why he respects them. I like his mindset. I mean, you can kind of tell he has some emotional problems, but at the same time, Rui kind of said it best. He's like a monster trying to become human, which I guess is the opposite of her. Which, I don't know how much that is true. You can tell Salty's probably going to have a decent relationship with her because, you know, first off, she was so willing to transport her in the first place, and two, because she felt like she had kind of a friend in that sense, which kind of worked out for her too, because you see her crying near the end of the episode. Now, the ending of the episode is what interests me the most, which is the whole Aoba, Aoba, Mikado, and Henri situation. Now, if I'm correct, isn't that's supposed to be the day that they're supposed to be showing him around the city? But isn't Erica and Walter supposed to be with him? Or are we just going to imply that the Erica-Walter stuff probably just carries over from, like, them saving Isaiah's sisters, kind of. I say kind of because it's not like Isaiah's sisters couldn't handle them themselves. Which is interesting in its own right. So I'm curious if the Isaiah sister thing is going to become really drawn out, which it might, because it looks like it will be. Also, having Aoba randomly mention, I'm also glad that the crush thing between Henri and Mikado is still there because of the blushing scene they get, which was really cute. But the thing I thought was the most interesting is that he mentions about Mikado being $1 in front of Henri, and if I recall right, Henri doesn't know that Mikado's $1, right? Because I can't tell because they didn't do a reaction shot from Henri, because literally the scene right after that is having ex-Yellow Scars members come harass Mikado because Masaomi is the leader of the Yellow Scars, but his people don't know that Mikado and him are cool. Therefore, because of the shit that happened in season 1, now he has the fucking Yellow Scarves on him, which should be interesting because in the preview we do get to see Aoba with like kind of a dickish face on, which makes me think we'll probably get more of Aoba's true personality in the next episode. Overall, I was really into this episode. I thought it was good characterization for Yuhei, who really needed it. Ruri, I want to know more about. I'm curious to see if we're going to get more of Aoba's true personality in the next episode. Trying to think. And then obviously we finally, and I also want to see, and oh yeah, that's the other thing I forgot to mention. Igor works for Shika, who is the dude who's talking to Shinra while he's trapped in the ball. So that probably means, and one of his questions to Shinra was, what is Ruri exactly? Because they don't know. So I'm assuming that Rui's running from these guys Igor is working for, and apparently Shizuo got involved and wrecked the shit out of both of them, and that's what proceeded to lead to the situation at hand. Anyways, also, I find it interesting that Yuhei does not tell her. He's open to tell her a lot of things, but he's not open to tell her that Shizuo is his brother. Which I don't know if that's just because you can kind of tell they're probably going to get together at some point, but I'm curious to see how that goes. And then obviously we get the scene to know that Ruri isn't human. If anything else didn't prove it, it was, oh look, she's twirling a fucking dumbbell while crying and laughing at the same time. You ain't all there, chick, if that's happening, and her backstory doesn't give too much of an explanation. She reminds me of Henri in some ways. And I also think that little girl in the opening is probably related to Ruri in some way, because I think she is walking with Shika in the opening, so I'm like, I bet that's her little sister, but only time will tell. Overall, good episode. If we can get this video to 60 likes, I will be insanely grateful. I want to keep the consistencies up because the comments are kind of weak, but if we can get more interactions and likes, I know that at the very least you guys are enjoying these reviews. Anyways, this has been all for me, the Insane Game Freak. So life's a game, play to win, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.